Here we are, week 4. It's kind of Seek the Truth Thursday, as I like to call it. And, football team's 0-3, and, we just keep finding ways to lose games. And we got to turn a corner here and start finding ways to win football games. And, obviously the number one thing is ball security. And, our players being at the best when their best is required. And so, we'll continue on with our process, just keep chugging at it, putting our head down, keep going to work. Guys are still carrying supreme confidence going into the games on Sundays. And that's all thanks to their preparation and everything that they're doing. And so, with that, we'll look to try to find a way to go 1-0 this week.
No, last year you had players coach each other a little bit. Are you doing that already this season, or are you coaching?
For sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We started that off from rip, just from week 1. We started that. That's a big emphasis, on their end more so than it is on my end. I never want to be the one to kind of leading the charge on that. I always believed in a player-led group over a coach-led group, and with that, you still got the C.J. Hams, the Troy Dyes, the Metellises kind of leading the way in the charge, the DePaulas leading the charge on those player-led meetings. And so that's still taking place in the building, which is a great thing.
I think you had some few guys up for the first time with Andre Carter and Trishan Jackson and those guys. What did you think of them and their
Yeah,
games?
that was exciting. I was excited for those guys. Get an opportunity to play in their first NFL games. I thought Andre Carter, the game wasn't too big for him. I even asked, after post game, what was it like for him, and his thoughts were, guys are, as compared to the preseason, how is it now? He's like, guys are just better. It's just better guys out there. So the moment wasn't too big for him, and he'll continue in his development and growing as a player, and we'll see how much more we can really implement and get him more involved in the game plan from a special team standpoint. But because I do think that he is a matchup problem from a punt return standpoint, really all 4 phases of the game, and even the field goal block too, just with his length and his ability that he has.
When you're playing another team that's also on 3, does it change at all, like the way that you game plan as far as expecting them to do more like trick plays or be more aggressive?
Yeah, that's a good question, Lindsay. It's interesting too because you look at it. Johnny Hecker, who actually was a teammate of mine, we came out as undrafted rookies back in 2012 with the St. Louis Rams, and so he has a fake history. So that's kind of already. It's already built in the game plan, really just based off of who he is, who the coordinator is, and I'm very familiar with him. He's a good buddy of mine, and so. But just from a game plan standpoint, I don't think anything changes. We still have that same urgency. We still have that same mindset and the same aggressive mindset that we want to go out and accomplish and find a way to positively impact the football game. But you do, have to be mindful of, not necessarily desperation mode on their end, but just, how can they find ways to steal possessions or, create some type of positive momentum in a football game if things aren't going their way. And so we'll have our antennas up and well aware of those type of things and when those situations might arise.
And I know you say you like the player-led meetings, but how about your own guys that are feeling the pressure of 0-3, and how do you keep them kind of calm, trying not to do too much?
Right. Yeah,
make mistakes?
That's a good question too. And I told the guys at the beginning of the week that we don't have to do anything outside of ourselves. You look at the roster and how it's built out. We have the talent to win in this league, and quite frankly, you look at how it went last year in the 1-score games. We went 11-1, and this year we're kind of on the flip side of things, and the ball's just not bouncing our way. And so we got to take a look at ourselves and in those moments. What are we doing differently, or is there something going on from a mental standpoint on why we aren't making those plays that we made last year, or why things aren't getting done to put ourselves in a position to win the football games? But there's no pressure. Everything we want to do for this season is still right there out in front of us. We just got to find a way to go 1-0 at the end of the day. And so, with that, just try to find a way to go get a first win on the road.
Matt, before season, you talked about how Metellus was going to have to just be in better shape because he was going to play more.
Yes.
How have you seen him handle
I think he's handled it really, really well. From a conditioning standpoint, from a preparation standpoint, we're still getting out of him everything that we got out of him last year. From still being a four-core guy, with quite frankly, I mean he's basically a starter on defense, playing 95% of the snaps, and so we do a great job of communicating with one another on how he's feeling. If there's just a good relationship between the two of us to know like, hey, he might need a little breather here, or I'm good hat there, and so we try to make sure that it's a good balance and good chemistry between us to kind of know when it's a must have, I gotta have you in, and otherwise it's like I can give you a little breather there.
How tough was losing Jalen Naylor, just given what he'd done the week prior?
Yeah, Speedy was really starting to come into his own, going into his second year. Man, it was a tough loss, but we got the way the roster is built. We got guys who can kind of fulfill in, and it won't be too much of a drop off there. But this guy is as versatile as they come. His ability, he can play the corner spot on pressure return. He can gun. Speed player. He's really, really strong. He's got good roots to block guys much bigger than him, linebackers rather, just because of how tough he is and the mindset that he has. But I'm looking forward to getting Speedy back because we got some really, really good plans built out for him to make a true impact this year.
Unless I'm wrong, Mekhi Blackman hasn't done much special teams.
No, Mekhi has not done much.
Is that just he just not a spot for him right
Yeah,
now?
it's just really kind of not a spot for him, which is kind of being our third corner, and us not really having huge depth at the position. Just want to kind of tread lightly with him, So it's really more of a depth at the corner position more so than his lack of ability to play special teams. Yeah.
Matt, each week a team has tried to kick 55 plus against you guys. I mean, it seems like that's sort of the range is going out to 60 for every team. Is that changed over the years, or changed the way that you have to kind of be ready for that at all times?
Yeah, and I'm constantly communicating with Flo and our game management coordinator on kind of what the line is that we have to defend at the end of half or end of game situations. And you are seeing that line kind of bagging up, but that doesn't really change necessarily on our end. We're always looking to find ways to basically, the trajectory on those longer field goals are going to be lower. And so it's more a bigger emphasis on getting our hands up from a field goal block standpoint. But that just, kickers are getting stronger, and it just is what it is.
Do you think it's because kickers are better, or teams are willing to do it, or I mean, it's just there's a lot.
I think it's a blend of both. More times than not, though, you're seeing more 4 down, go for it as soon as you cross the 50 than you are like, hey, let's try it out for this 60-yard field goal. So I think you're getting more of an aggressive mindset from an offensive standpoint than you are, let's go try this 58-yard field goal. So I think if it's a 4th and manageable, you probably see the offense on the field more times than not.
You think Duke will beat Notre Dame this week? 17-11. It's an interesting matchup.
This wouldn't qualify as bulletin board.
Yeah. Yes, Duke is gonna win the football game. Duke is gonna win the football game. College game day. It's gonna be a great atmosphere. I wish I could be there, but yeah, we'll find a way to get it done. Maybe it'll be Ohio State will be beating them 2 weeks in a row. So we'll see. Appreciate y'all.